Welcome back to another episode where we are going to review one of the latest games and where we're going to go take a look at some of the gameplay and my first impression. Of course, my name is Tangy Delore, and today we are going to review one of the games I've been looking forward to a while, Kaiserpunk. I first want to recognize, of course, the studio who developed this game. Overseer Games is an independent Croatian studio, where spirit and seasoned developments shine. Kaiserpunk isn't really a massive AAA budget spectacle, but I really like it because it's focused and has a grand vision idea. That matters to me when you really consider the emphasis of both the city growth and the world conquest. So let's start with talking about the backbone of Kaiserpunk. This would be the vast production networks. You start with the basic resources like wood, coal, or iron. From there, I think the fun really starts because you start processing your refined goods into higher tier materials. This, of course, feeds your cities and armies, making them bigger and bigger. You have to think about everything you do, even where your buildings are placed so that it all can fit. You start growing your larger supply webs, mines. Of course, they fuel the factories. Factories feed the workshops, and your logistics keep everything moving smoothly. The biggest challenge is, of course, not just building, it's keeping the industry heartbeat pumping. Then you need to balance your empire as it grows. So let's talk about Kaiserpunk's economy. This isn't just a number on your page. It's actually the lifeblood and pulse of your empire. Every ton of steel, every barrel of oil, every crate in your storage gives you a sense of achievement. But honestly, stock management can become its own battlefield. Too much sitting, idling drains your economy. But running lean on supplies can mean one small hiccup can send your city into chaos. Markets respond to your choices. Success isn't luck. It's timing, foresight, and keeping the industry machine from eating itself. So once your economy is humming, Kaiserpunk pushes you forwards onto the world stage. Trade and diplomacy becomes the tools that turn your factories into influence. You can broker deals, export your surplus, and secure resources you can't produce at home. Every agreement feels like another gear in the industry machine. Steady profit when things go well, sudden tension when markets shift. Diplomacy gives you a chance to shape alliances or fuel rivalries, but it's more functional than depth. Nations actually act like trade partners with distant favors rather than like fully dynamic characters. Still, when a deal clicks or a supply route opens across continents, it delivers that sense of scale that feels like your little factory town actually becomes more of a global empire. So when diplomacy fades, Kaiserpunk lets your industries become your weapon. Every rifle, tank, and bullet started in your factories, which means your economy directly fuels your military strength. Conquest happens on the world map. You'll push your borders, occupy regions, and secure vital resources to keep your war machine moving. It's an ambitious layer, though not as in-depth as traditional grand strategy games. Battles play out abstractly more than about logistics and tactics. You manage supply lines, not really micromanaging troops. And at that point, it's a war fought through efficiency instead of full-out combat. So it kind of lacks in that department. Kaiserpunk sits somewhere between Anno and Hearts of Iron, but it doesn't fully belong in either camp. From Anno, it borrows like the satisfying loops of production change, watching raw materials transform into sleek finished goods. From Heart of Iron, it takes the idea of global conquest and resource-driven warfare. But where those games specialize is really like Anno is polished and is in more depth. Hearts of Iron is more historically complex. Kaiserpunk tries to merge between those worlds, but results into like an ambitious and unique industry builder that kind of wants to scale up to like a world domination. It doesn't always reach to the strategic depths of a Paradox title or the finesse of a City Skylines 2. Yet it does add something like a new, fresh connection of like factories to front lines. It's a game that really dares to bridge genres rather than live comfortably in one. Visually, I think Kaiserpunk nails its theme. The whole world feels like it's caught between the chance of renewal and the glooming shadows of destruction and war. The factories churn with motion, smokestacks coughing into the skyline, and tanks, planes, and ships waiting to be deployed. It's one of those rare city builders where 20th century beauty and industry collide in one frame. So now that I went over like the mechanics and the overall gameplay of this, I want to go over more of the cracks that I noticed, and maybe we'll go over a couple of the good things I noticed as well. First thing, I'm going to group these together is the weather and maps. The weather, it just is like visually appealing, but I don't really think it adds too much to the game. Like, yes, it gives a great atmosphere if you like that kind of stuff, but I would like to see that incorporated into the game a little more. I kind of wish they did something like Banished where the weather wasn't just a background piece, it was a core part of the actual game and shaped survival and just added a different type of rhythm. Also, I wish they did a little bit more with the maps. I know they gave us so many options. We can choose a map in Russia. We can choose a map in America. We can even do some stuff in Africa. It's really cool how big the world map is. But when you actually get down to it, they look a lot similar. And yeah, there are some animals. I saw some bears and some deers, but I just wanted a little bit more pizzazz. So another friction that I feel like most people are probably experiencing the same thing, at least I am experiencing, and I'm just going to be as real as I can with this video, is the combat. And of course, when you go up to the actual world map, it feels like it expands your borders and it feels big at first, and you're like, you get it really excited, but then all of a sudden, it doesn't have that tension that you really want. The combat is more of about managing logistics than strategy. It's functional, but it's not exciting. It just lacks that depth or just smart AI. I wish that they could make that feel more alive because it would make the game feel so much bigger. So my third friction is actually city decorations. I'm a really big City Skylines player or city builders, and I like that city decorations. So they give you some tools, but it's really surface level. The decorations don't influence the citizens' productivity, which you can obviously incorporate that into the game as well. And it doesn't just have to be beautiful screenshots, even some like small bonuses to wind up helping it. And it also would just feel more rewarding because every city would look a little bit different and you can kind of customize it to your own liking. So, on to the positive, I feel like Kaiserpunk feels generally refreshing. It doesn't really play it safe. It's kind of familiar with the city building aspect of it, but it really bolts into that full industry and strategy layers, which I feel like they know is their strong portion of it. It gives you a mix of personality that you don't really often see in this genre. The real strengths is the building depth. Watching a small settlement grow into a complex web of production and logistics is incredibly satisfying. Every new factory, every expansion feels earned, but it ties back into that earlier choices you made. There's a real sense of progression, not some more building, but smarter, more effective systems stacking together. It's one of those games where you can lose hours just refining a single chain, tweaking layers, and watching the city come alive. That's a magic in itself. Kaiserpunk isn't perfect, but it's refreshing and full of life. The flaws are easy to overlook, honestly, when the core loop feels this good. Overseer clearly knows its strengths, and I'm definitely going to be playing this game more often. I just wanted to give you guys a big thank you for watching my video. This is actually my first review, so please let me know how I did in the comments below. Please like and subscribe, and just keep up to date with the next video.